Rain lashed violently against the glass windows of the exclusive Skyview Hotel as Elena Ward, a quiet, hard-working girl from a small town, sat in the corner of a grand ballroom, her heart trembling beneath her soft pastel dress. She had never belonged in the glittering world of the elite, but tonight, she had come for her best friend Lila's engagement party, unaware that destiny was about to twist her life in a way she could never imagine. Lila's uncle, Adrian Steele, the man known as the abstinence CEO, was attending for the first time after years of isolation. His return sent murmurs through the crowd. His face was unreadable, his dark eyes colder than the night, a man who'd built an empire yet destroyed every rumor of love around him. Elena had heard whispers about him from Lila, a man who had lost everything once, who refused to touch or trust anyone again. But when she met his gaze across the ballroom, her pulse skipped. There was a strange familiarity, an ache she couldn't name. Meanwhile, behind the glitter, envy brewed. Lila's cousin Mira, jealous of Elena's closeness to Lila and her natural grace, plotted a cruel prank. Mira slipped something into Elena's drink, laughing quietly as she watched the shy girl slowly lose balance and step into the wrong corridor. The night blurred. Elena stumbled into a private elevator, its lights flickering, and unknowingly pressed the top floor, Adrian's exclusive suite. The storm outside mirrored the storm within her, her vision hazy, her breath uneven, as she entered the silent, dimly lit villa attached to the penthouse. Adrian, returning late from a tense business call, was startled to find a girl asleep on his couch, her hair drenched, her cheeks flushed with fever. His instinct screamed to call security, but something stopped him, the innocence in her face, the vulnerability that pierced through his years of emotional armor. He wrapped her in a blanket and sat beside her, watching as thunder roared outside, unaware that fate had just tied their lives in a knot that no logic could undo. When Elena woke, the first thing she saw were his eyes, cold, distant, and yet full of restrained chaos. She panicked, confused, apologetic, trying to explain she must have gotten the wrong room, but her trembling voice and tearful eyes made Adrian pause. For the first time in years, his chest ached with something human. When she tripped over the edge of the rug and fell against him, her lips brushed his in a moment so pure, so unintentional, that it cracked the walls around his frozen heart. It was a kiss that wasn't passion, it was salvation. Adrian froze, pulling back immediately, yet something deep inside him shifted. The next morning, rumors spread like wildfire. Someone had photographed Elena leaving his villa, and by noon, her name trended alongside his on every gossip page. Lila confronted her, heartbroken, accusing her of betrayal. Adrian could have denied it, could have ruined her reputation to protect his own, but instead, he shocked everyone. He declared her under his protection, claiming responsibility for her safety that night. Behind the boardrooms and flashing cameras, a silent war began. Adrian fighting against his growing feelings and his fear of love, Elena battling shame, betrayal, and her fading friendship. Days passed, but destiny wasn't done with them. When Adrian investigated the incident, he discovered the security footage that showed Myra's act of sabotage, the drugged drink, the setup, and his fury was volcanic. Without warning, he stormed into the engagement ceremony and exposed the truth before everyone, his voice like thunder, his arm around Elena as he said, "The only mistake she made was trusting the wrong people." Gasps filled the room. Lila broke down, realizing the truth, but it was too late. The world had already judged Elena. Adrian took her away, not out of guilt, but because he couldn't bear to see her hurt again. His villa became her shelter, his silence her comfort. Yet love wasn't simple. Adrian's dark past haunted him. Years ago, he had lost his fiancée in a car accident caused by betrayal within his company, and since then, he'd vowed never to feel again. But Elena's kindness chipped at his walls. One night, when she cooked dinner for him and accidentally burnt the soup, he laughed for the first time in years, startling both of them. That laugh became the beginning of healing. Slowly, their bond deepened, not through confessions, but through small, quiet miracles. Adrian began to see her not as a reminder of pain, but as the promise of peace. However, the past refused to die. Mira, desperate for revenge, leaked forged documents suggesting Elena had targeted Adrian for money. The scandal exploded. Shareholders questioned Adrian's judgment, his company's stock fell, and Elena decided to leave to protect him. The scene at the airport was chaos. Rain, Crowds, her tears blending with the storm as she whispered to herself, he deserves someone without a shadow. But as she turned to leave, Adrian appeared, soaked, breathless, his voice breaking as he said, "Don't you dare walk away from the one person who taught me how to feel again." The crowd froze, photographers snapped, but he didn't care. He knelt before her, confessing that her innocence, her courage, and her forgiveness had melted the abstinent CEO into a man capable of love again. Elena broke down, her tears falling as he lifted her chin and said softly, "That night wasn't a mistake, it was destiny correcting my heart." Months later, she became not his scandal, but his strength. Their love became a symbol of redemption. Lila apologized, Mira vanished into silence, and the world that once mocked them now envied them. Adrian never returned to the man he was before. He became gentler, more human, all because of one accidental night that wasn't built on sin but on fate. And every evening, when the rain kissed their window, he'd pull her close and whisper, "You walked into my loneliness by accident, but you stayed by choice." And that, perhaps, was the miracle of their story. The girl framed by jealousy and the man frozen by grief found love not in desire, but in the purity of a single, unintentional kiss that changed everything forever. She was framed, he was frozen. One innocent mistake brought their fates together. But what if the night everyone called a scandal was actually a miracle? Cloud with rain, fire. Don't miss this heart-shaking love story filled with betrayal, redemption, and fate. Right finger subscribe now to our channel for more twisted love stories, emotional miracles, and suspense-filled romantic dramas.